Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the latest Terrace City Council meeting saw a major discussion take place. Negotiation progress was not made with picketing government workers, and BC libraries are alarmed by the lack of funding they're dealing with.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cael Maslin, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. We start off with a look into a major subject that was discussed in the latest Terrace City Council meeting. The most recent edition of a Terrace City Council meeting saw discussion surrounding a proposal for Pacific Northern Gas to increase their rates in their West Division that spans between Prince Rupert and Summit Lake. P&G said in a statement that the increases are an attempt to recover deferred costs while they're also being spurred on by a reduction in industrial demand and higher operating costs. Terrace City Councillor James Cordero brought up a point that helped illustrate why P&G might have seen this reduction in users.
He pointed out that the provincial government has been really pushing heat pumps across the province, which is making less and less people using the natural gas opposed to and switching over to electricity, which of course is going to, as you have less and less user, the rates are going to go up.
Terrace Mayor Sean Bouitosh also confirmed that he has heard the thoughts of local residents on the rate hikes, and they aren't exactly thrilled about it.
I've definitely had a lot of people reach out and upset and disappointed about these rate hikes, and I can't say that I blame them. It just feels like another northern tax as we continue to have to pay higher rates for things, unlike the folks in the Lower Mainland.
Bouitosh sent a letter back in June to BC Premier David Eby protesting the proposed 53% hike, and a response was recently delivered by BC Energy Minister Adrian Dix. Dix's own letter mainly explained that these rates fall under the jurisdiction of an independent agency called the BC Utilities Commission, and that these increases would have to be justified by the Commission before they could be approved. Bouitosh then said what he thought of the response letter.
It was dismissive, but I'm not surprised. Disappointing that the province doesn't look at these northern areas and make exemptions for us, knowing full well that we're going to pay higher rates comparable to folks in the south.
P&G also mentioned in their statement that they know they are responsible for efficiently managing their costs while ensuring they provide safe and reliable service to their customers, and they've encouraged anyone with questions or concerns to contact their customer care team so that they can come to the best possible solution. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cael Maslin. The BC government's air quality warnings that have covered a majority of the province now includes the North Coast inland sections. The warnings have been put into place mainly due to an abundance of wildfires and the smoke that they produced. The North Coast warning was confirmed by an online map that highlights every area most likely to be affected by the wildfire smoke within the next 24 to 48 hours. Each active warning can also be seen on the air quality warning section of the BC provincial government's website. The next update on the warnings is expected to come in tomorrow. In another recent challenge to BC big industry, a petition against the Siolism's floating LNG terminal has been dismissed. CFTK-TV's Jaylee Matthews explains.
Not long after the PRGT pipeline project that would potentially supply the Cael terminal was challenged and the case dismissed in the BC Supreme Court, another challenge to the BC gas industry has also been dismissed. The Gatineau Hereditary Chiefs filed a petition to challenge the validity of the environmental assessment of the Cael project due to lack of consultation and environmental concerns. Although the project wouldn't run directly in their territory, the Gatineau territory encompasses large sections of Nass and Skeena watersheds. Cael, a Niska-owned floating LNG project, means from the Nass in the Niska language. In filing the legal proceedings, the Gatineau Laxiip cited grave concerns over threats to salmon populations, escalating climate risks, and inadequate consultation.
Regarding the Cael LNG terminal and the scope of consultation and the very premature determination that the Provincial Environmental Assessment Office has made, saying that there will be no impacts to juvenile salmon regardless of where they originate from, regardless if they originate in Gatineau territory or Gitxsan or Nisga'a territory, and that consultation is only with those nations who they have determined to be a participating Indigenous nation. And so for over a year, Gatineau has called to broaden the scope of this consultation to include Gitniao because our fish will be affected.
They cite that the Nass River flowing through the Gitniao-Laxip before entering Niska territory and emptying into the Portland Canal is the lifeblood of the Gitniao. The application for judicial review was filed in BC Supreme Court in Vancouver on October 25th, 2024. The Environmental Assessment Office maintained throughout the following proceedings that there was no information to suggest that effects in the project area will result in impacts to Gitniao fisheries, and that the possible impacts listed by the Gitniao and backed by Skeena Wild's Dr. Michael Price were, quote, speculative. The EAO and the province also maintained that there was no duty to consult due to the negation of direct impacts to Gitniao territory. The Honourable Justice Whately dismissed the petition on August 29th. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Jaylene Matthews.
Terrace's fire chief recently set out a statement that addressed a pair of arson attacks directed at a local cab company. Caleb Cabs saw some of their vehicles intentionally set on fire on August 24th and 29th, with the Terrace Fire Department responding to both incidents. Joel Broson's statement emphasized how dangerous committing an act like this is, especially when done near public spaces, homes, and businesses. He also encouraged residents to report any suspicious activity they see without hesitation and thanked the people who first reported the fires. Coming up next, overdoses in BC have been spiking recently. Welcome back. The second day of government workers on the picket lines saw no signs of progress being made in negotiations. In what could be a season of job action across BC, other unions are watching carefully. CTV's Rob Buffum has the story.
More than 2,000 government workers remain on the picket line, just a fraction of BCGEU public service employees taking strike action for better wages.
Everyone knows that the cost of living has gone up.
And more workers may well hit the picket lines. The BC Employers Union represents various jobs ranging from administrators to wildfire fighters to liquor store staff.
You know, we're not going to reveal our strike strategy, but what we will say is this will definitely expand and escalate if government doesn't come to the table with a fair offer.
Wednesday, there were picket lines at 9 locations across BC, 7 in Victoria, 1 in Prince George, and 1 again at this ICBC Centre in Surrey, where customers were not permitted to renew their licenses. Meanwhile, outside the Royal BC Museum in Victoria, many tourists were turned away from seeing the sights.
Well, we might have done, yeah. We've got a couple of hours to kill here, so yeah, it might have been a good idea.
This job action could be the first of many this fall, with multiple public sector unions' contracts expired.
In some sense, this is the tip of the labor iceberg, if you like.
BCGEU wants 8.25% pay hikes in the next 2 years. The province is countered with 3.5%. What happens here could affect everything from BC's teachers to nurses, both renegotiating deals this fall.
A fair wage for all teachers across the province.
We are and have been for months preparing for negotiations.
BC's finance minister issued a statement Wednesday noting, "We must acknowledge the reality that BC finds itself in right now, with a limited fiscal position and strong economic headwinds. The impacts of the U.S. trade war are being felt across Canada, and we must make decisions based on what's best for all British Columbians." Asked how long workers may strike, the union's president said Wednesday, "As long as it takes." Robert Buffum, CTV News, Victoria.
Overdoses have spiked in the past week, with 911 calls for help skyrocketing. A notorious drug is once again infiltrating supplies across the country, including in British Columbia. CTV's Petty Daflos has the details.
Vancouver's downtown east side has been a symbol of drug use for years, but an estimated 225,000 British Columbians use illicit drugs, and they're all at higher risk right now, whether they live downtown or in the burbs or a small town.
Drug poisonings are again increasing in British Columbia. Particularly, we've seen non-fatal events increasing over the summer with a substantial spike last week.
BC Emergency Health Services tell CTV News last week saw a 50% surge in 911 calls for overdose compared to the week before. The coroner's service hasn't seen an increase in deaths. In Vancouver Coastal Health, a drug alert is in place after testing of these tablets sold as hydromorphone found benzodiazepine and a fentanyl analog precursor. In Fraser Health, overdoses are being blamed on the reemergence of carfentanil, a veterinary anesthetic up to 100 times stronger than fentanyl.
If a person has a higher dose of it that they've received, additional doses of naloxone might be required.
Since the spring, Edmonton health officials have seen a dramatic increase in opioid-related deaths.
There was carfentanil in his drug, and that's a death sentence.
Carfentanil has once again been detected in Alberta, Ontario, and Saskatchewan, where they've also seen a surge of overdoses in the past week.
Fentanyl is already so strong that, naloxone really has to work hard to reverse it. And when we look at carfentanil, it has to work even harder.
Naloxone kits are free through many programs in BC, and there's online and in-person training to use them.
Because it's so important to provide breaths and continue to give that person oxygen while waiting for the naloxone to start to work.
Those who survive an overdose may have heart or brain damage and other health complications. Penny Daffla, CTV News, Vancouver.
Librarians across the province are sounding the alarm on the need for more funding from the province to stay afloat. Advocacy groups say BC public libraries are at a breaking point, and as CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, these spaces fulfill many social and community services beyond the books.
For many people, a library isn't just about reading and research. It can be life-saving.
You also have folks who are struggling, who are unhoused, and who need a space to be. You also have a lot of people who just don't have anyone in their life.
Hasdiev and other public librarians say due to rising demand and rapid inflation, libraries are at a breaking point.
The challenge for libraries is that even if libraries were doing exactly the same things that they were doing 15 years ago, the money doesn't go as far. But they're actually doing more.
Carrie-Lynn Gowletz is the director of the Grand Forks Public Library. She says the impact is already visible in some small communities.
Particularly Cranbrook and Creston public libraries that had to reduce their hours of operations.
The issue will be front and center at next month's Union of BC Municipalities Convention, where a special resolution will call on the province to more than double its annual funding.
Local governments are standing up and saying that libraries are essential provincial infrastructure and the province needs to do its part to fund them.
Gowletz says provincial funding was cut in 2009 to about $14 million a year and has remained stagnant since. The province tells CTV News that it provided a $45 million enhancement grant in 2023. Gowletz says that one-time funding is already running out.
It's going to be really harmful for the communities. The library is the last free public space that you can just go and be.
She says without more money, people won't be able to borrow a book from off the shelf or online. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
And now we take a look at both your nightly and weekly weather forecast. On the north coast, tonight should be home to periods of drizzle and a low at 13 degrees, with their weekly forecast starting off rainy, going all sunny in the middle, with mixed conditions popping up the rest of the time, and the high will move from 17 to 15 degrees. In the Terrace Kitimat area, the night will be clear with a low at 13 degrees, and as for the rest of the week, it'll be sunny for a few days before the mixed sun and cloud conditions appear, while the high bounces between 25 and 20 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, their night expects smoky conditions and a low at 6 degrees, with their week starting with even more smoke, and then it'll get all sunny, and then the rain will appear at the end as the high shifts from 29 to 22 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. Highway 16 has construction work, bridge maintenance, utility work, a special event plan, road maintenance work, paving operations, and the Usk Ferry is currently out of service due to the low river level. Highway 37 has bridge construction and construction work planned, and Highway 37A is still dealing with falling rocks between west of Mesiadin and east of Stewart and paving operations, and the Nishka Highway has some road construction work. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, the NDP is working to determine their new leader. Welcome back. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling for an end to the temporary foreign worker program, and as CTV's Martin McMahon reports, that has prompted a debate in this province over the program and its future here.
The principle is very simple. Canadian jobs for Canadian workers.
Claiming temporary foreign workers are making it hard for young people to find work, a call from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre to scrap the program.
And to stop issuing visas for any new temporary foreign workers coming into the country.
But multiple sectors, including the restaurant and hotel industries, are heavily reliant on temporary foreign workers, and they argue Canadians simply aren't applying for many of the positions in those areas.
A really bad policy on his part. He doesn't understand the industry. We are 20,000 people short in our industry in cooks and chefs, and there's not a hope that we have enough domestic population to satisfy that from today and years to come.
I take no issue with adjusting the levels of temporary foreign workers, changing some of the program constraints. But to suggest that we end the program is completely divorced from what's happening in the labor market across the country.
Smaller communities in BC like Terrace struggle to attract workers and are pushing back.
We here in Northwest BC, Terrace, Prince Rupert, Kitimat, believe these cuts, and if the program were to be eliminated, would disproportionately hurt rural British Columbia, and especially our little corner.
But Poilievre's proposal has supporters as well, from those who believe the program pushes down wages for everyone.
Wages is number one. Wages need to come to the forefront. I mean, whether we cancel this or not, a Liberal or a Conservative government or even an NDP government, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Ottawa has known about this for 15 years. All parties, has been their dirty little secret.
While Cabinet is discussing the program, the Prime Minister has so far indicated he has no plans to end it. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
The race to find a new federal NDP leader is underway, although no candidates have officially thrown their hats in the ring. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, some of the rules governing the race will likely generate attention as the party looks to reinvent itself.
We had really good candidates that lost tonight.
Jagmeet Singh stepped down after a dismal performance by New Democrats in April's federal election. Reduced to just 7 seats, the NDP has lost official party status. But as parliamentarians get ready for the fall sitting in Ottawa, the New Democrats have launched their leadership campaign. Interim leader Don Davies sees it as an opportunity for the party
to reimagine a strong progressive federal option, one that brings voices to Parliament, working people, marginalized Canadians, people whose interests and voices are often forgotten.
No candidates have declared, but the rules are out. The entry fee is $100,000, and to get their name on the ballot, hopefuls must gather signatures from 500 party members. One rule stipulates at least 50% of the total required signatures must be from members who do not identify as a cis man.
I think it's important that a modern political party reach out and require leadership candidates to talk to the full array of Canadian culture in our society, and so I think it's a good thing.
Political observers say while that particular rule may offend some, it's unlikely many objections will come from party faithful.
I think it opens the NDP up from criticisms from outside sources that might dismiss the NDP for making these divisions or being too woke or whatever pejorative they may want to use. I'm not sure that, as I say, New Democrats will be terribly fussed by it.
The party will vote for the new leader in a ranked ballot format at a convention in Winnipeg in March of next year. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
And now we turn our attention to how the stock markets are looking as of today compared to yesterday. The Canadian dollar is down 29/10 cents. The price of gold is down $28.80. Oil is down 49 cents. Natural gas is up 2 cents. Aluminum is up $2. In Toronto, the TSX is up 164.53 points. The Venture Index is down 2.85. In New York, the Dow Jones is up 350.06 and Nasdaq is up 209.96. Still ahead, there are more details available on how to get World Cup tickets. Welcome back. FIFA has released new details on how they'll begin selling tickets for the 2026 World Cup, including the 7 matches at BC Place. There will be pre-sale lotteries, the first one starting next Wednesday. CTV's Shannon Patterson now on why you'll be competing with both fans and brokers.
In 1 week, the first pre-sale lottery for 1 million World Cup tickets will be open to Visa cardholders. Winners will be notified on September 29th and given a time slot to buy tickets, which start at $60 US for group stage matches.
Out of that 1 million tickets, realistically, do you think very many are actually planning to come to the city and go to that game?
No. I would think it'll be an opportunity to make some money for a lot of the people. You know, if you get a chance, it's like winning a lottery. I've just won the lottery.
And I can resell them.
Yes, exactly.
Because reselling will be allowed, British Columbians who want to see one of the 7 matches at BC Place will be competing against fans and ticket brokers from all over the world.
There's 2 Canada games guaranteed right now. What do you think the demand will be for those?
They're already off the wall. I've got deposits already taken from people that want tickets to go. And I've told them, please don't make me commit to them to a price, but I will have tickets. And they said, okay, just put us on the list. And I said, I'll do the best I can.
If you have your heart set on watching Canada play, there is one way to secure your tickets right now. FIFA is selling hospitality venue packages for BC Place. They include tickets to all 7 of the games here, including the 2 Canada matches. There's food, drink, and gifts thrown in, but it'll cost you. The lowest price package is $20,000, and they go up from there, with the top tier one selling for a whopping $42,200.
What do you think of those prices?
If you really want to go, and this is on your bucket list, it doesn't matter what the price is, you're going to go.
Some resale sites are already offering tickets for the Canada games, even though they aren't for sale yet. Gambling these prices will net them a profit, and they can source enough seats to fulfill orders.
They've done it for years. You win some, you lose some. But when you lose big. But when you win, you can win huge. And it all depends on what teams are going to be in the groups.
The draw will be determined in December. In the meantime, locals who want to experience the World Cup in their own backyard can start entering ticket lotteries next week.
I'd give it a chance. And if they do get a ticket, call me.
Because you have a buyer.
I definitely have buyers.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
A property along the Coquihalla Highway has been ordered to evacuate, and 84 more were put on alert due to a nearby wildfire. The Thompson-Nicola Regional District says the order and alerts are for the Mine Creek fire, which is now 1,900 hectares in size, and the highway remains closed as motorists are being directed to take highways 1 and 3 as alternate routes between the Lower Mainland and Interior. That's all of our news for now. From everyone here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cael Maslin, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.